slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And we are live. What is up, fam? It is Monday, June 27th. Went on a little hiatus vacation there for a week last week, but we are back and better than ever. I miss you guys. I'm glad to be back. And yeah, glad to be back with you, Eric. How you been?
Doing well, man. Had a little bit of a rough last week. You know, we had some pretty much blowout city most nights, 10-point spread, almost by half. So, you know, it is what it is, but looking for a bounce back week. We got you back with the fam and ready to get back to it.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed this week it's a little more balanced in terms of the schedule. A lot of 2-gamers, and then I think a couple 3-gamers sprinkled in on Tuesday, tomorrow, and then Friday, I believe. So
Yeah.
I think we have at least 2 games every day this week. Is that correct?
I believe so, except Friday. I believe Friday's a one-gamer.
Oh, okay. So that's what happened. Okay. Still, it looks like a decent week to bounce back and get our feet under us again. I've been trying to catch up with chat and everyone, see how the week went, and it seems like PrizePicks is starting to pay more attention to the lines and adjusting more so than ever for WNBA. So we're going to have to work even harder to find the edge and play Robin Hood here and get our money back. So
For sure.
Okay, let's before we start, we can go. Well, here let's catch up on news and then we'll catch up on chat as people are rolling in since we had a little late start. So, big news of the day was a late scratch for Chelsea Gray for Las Vegas, and they're already short-handed because I think Quanna Williams' game time decision. She hasn't played in since like May.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
They could really use her today with Chelsea Gray out. So their rotation and lineups really going to be all over the place and different today with Chelsea out. She was a late scratch, like I said, due to personal reasons. This should be boosts for a lot of other players like our favorite Plum, which we'll get into when we get into that game. And that's the second game on the slate. And then Tina Charles looks like she was, while I was gone, was recently let go, and she signed with Seattle. So that's a huge hole in terms of scoring, a lot of production all across the stat line. So we can theorize more about that on Phoenix side and try to predict how that trend's going to go with her being out, who's going to get the biggest bumps. And then am I missing any other major news for today?
No, that's everything we know for sure thus far. It looks like that they do have Canada, Jordan, and Chennai both listed as questionable tonight.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on those two.
Yeah, those will be key pieces of news to follow. So maybe we'll get that before the stream is over. And we have plenty of time today. Both these games are more like West Coast games where they're going to be starting around 10 p.m. Eastern and then 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So really late lock for both games. So we can really take our time here and hash things out and wait for news to drop. Although I imagine these game time decisions probably are going to come much later, but we'll see. So let's catch up on chat, catch up with everyone since it's been a while. See who's rolling in. Jay Fee's a year. What up, Jay? Mike said, you're going to be late. Probably watch at 6. Good luck, fam. All right, we'll still be here, man. But glad you made it by to say that. Permo, stunt, fire emoji. I love it. Toy said, "Sup, fam? Josh, we missed you, bro. Hey, I missed you guys, man. Glad to be back." AO said, "Let's do this." I like it. Underrated said, "Here we go. Go. Hit the like. I like it, man." And Underrated is actually doing us a huge favor for the channel and making a outro song for us, because right now all we can use is like the stock non-copyright songs that our stream software comes with. So can't wait for that song and definitely play that for our outro. Jason said, "Yo, what up, Jason?" All right. Am I caught up? Cowboy, what's up, Cowboy? It's been a while, man. Hey, Corey, let's get the fan back together. Love to see it. Yeah, same here, man. Sheriff said, "Let's go, fellas. Need the slow drip 5K." Let's do it. Travis said, "Josh back in the lab." Yeah, I'm back and better than ever. Let's get it. Okay. Let's start the first game on the slate, 10 p.m. Eastern. Both these games are rematches. Both these matchups have occurred within a 2 to 3 weeks span. So we have some pretty relevant recent data to go off of. But there's different personnel matchups. So we got to take it with a grain of salt, especially this first matchup with Indy at Phoenix. The last time they played, I believe, was like June 15th, a couple weeks ago. But again, Tina Charles was in that game, and she contributed to a large portion of this game with 29 real points, 7 rebounds, 4 total stocks. So there's a large void to fill up here with her gone. You can see it was a perfect matchup for her. Indy, they pretty much have so many holes to target. They are the worst. They have the worst defensive rating, one of the worst offensive ratings. They allow the most points in the paint. So Tina thrived in the paint, and I think she made a lot of threes in that game too. She was 3 of 5 from 3-point line. They run the second fastest pace, so that's good. Even more possessions to go around for both sides. They turn the ball over quite a bit. They're 5th in turnover percentage, and they allow the most free throw attempts. So they're still fouling at the highest rate, especially shooting fouls. So a lot of things to target here. And as a result, Phoenix is 7-point favorites. And a big part of that is also they're just playing a lot better now. Although it remains to be seen how they're going to adjust and do without Tina, because like I said, she's been a large part of their productivity especially on offense. So I think their defense might stay okay and remain on the upward swing and improving. But I'm curious to see offensively how they do. But they still remain last in rebounding with 12th, as you see here, 12th in rebound percentage. And I'm sure that's going to remain there with Tina being out, being gone. And they don't really turn the ball over that much, but they are allowing still the third most 3 points made while taking the third most 3-point attempts still. So while they are improving, there's some things we can target against them. And it's a healthy implied total at 169. So let's start with Indiana, the road team. I think, a lot of the lines have been appropriately adjusted. I mean, especially the point totals and the PRA and fantasy I noticed. And they definitely juiced Kelsey Mitchell's props appropriately because we were targeting her points and assists over the last few games, but now they have her assists all the way up to 4. Used to be down all the way down to 2.5. So that's going to be tough to decide on. But I think with Indiana, with how deficient they are offensively and defensively, I think the two key pieces right off the bat are going to be Nalissa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell for their offense. And then a secondary piece would be Victoria for her scoring. They didn't really adjust her point prop much out of all of the major core pieces of Indiana. So I'm curious to see your thoughts on her. So deciding between those three, I want to see who stands out the most to you in terms of props and scoring. Let's start there.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start right there with Egbo. You got highlighted. I think in this matchup, she is set up for a really good bounce back here. She's performed a little bit better on the road, surprisingly, but the foul trouble is just going to be a risk thing. Not only the foul trouble, but just some of these rookie mistakes also causing the turnovers. That was actually a big thing that got her on the bench last time. It wasn't even the fouls. She just came out and had, I think, 2 early turnovers and ended up losing a ton of minutes there. But she's a very capable player. We know that this is going to be a fairly pace-up matchup here. And with both teams kind of in this fresh look offense that we're going to have on both sides, it's going to be interesting. I think we'll get more of a track meet here than maybe folks are used to seeing in the past, especially from Phoenix here. They just look like a brand new team, and I love it. It was so awesome to see them rally and come back to beat Dallas at home. That was crazy all in its own right, but just to see the team really put in that extra effort and not do that fourth quarter flop like they've been doing this all year. That bodes really well for my confidence in this team and to actually be a competitor. But on the Indiana side of things, honestly, you can't trust anyone outside of Kelsey Mitchell or Nalissa. The coach is just going to do whatever he wants with everyone else. He's going to ride the hot hand. But Kelsey Mitchell and Smith both are probably going to play 30-plus minutes, assuming Smith doesn't get into foul trouble again. They proactively adjusted her lines. She had a rebounding adjusted, I believe, all the way up to 9 now, right?
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Phoenix being one of the worst rebounding teams, and that's being her specialty, and she had 14 rebounds the last matchup. So,
yeah. So, if you feel fairly confident on a repeat performance from the specific rebounds, you're more than welcome to go back there. I think we've seen a little bit of the more inefficient shooting side of her lately, and she's due for that bounce back spot here. I haven't liked some of her shot selections over the last couple games, just to be honest. It's not her style. And I would like to see for her to be more of a playmaker and come outside of the rim a little bit more, or if you're going to be setting up the offense, set up the pick and roll, not just chucking it across the court and hopefully that person's open by the time it gets there. A lot of these teams are picking up on really what Indiana's doing here and pulling some of the pieces back, like Kelsey here, for example. We've seen her assists finally spiking up, but PrizePicks really hasn't adjusted a lot of her lines up until today. So from here moving forward, it might be a little bit slimmer picking. I don't trust Indiana quite so much on the road, but for the two main pieces, you could probably go back there with some level of confidence today.
Yeah, I think what I would want to target the most for Phoenix right now, since they're improving so much defensively, is probably still rebounding on the glass. They're going to struggle, like I said, even more with Tina out, and they're going to take a lot of threes, as we know. So it's probably even more rebound opportunity, especially with Indiana running the second fastest pace. That's even more probably 3-point attempts for Phoenix than normal, which is really high. It's just a matter of who we go with, because PrizePicks only gave us 3 rebound props total so far for Indiana. I guess once they drop, I assume Emily off the bench, her props, they'll give us a rebound prop for her. But
maybe, yeah.
I mean, the one that stands out. I mean, obviously in the list, like you said, we would want to target, but it's right there. What about Egbo? Like you're saying, being a bounce back spot, could we get on her rebounds or even Victoria?
Yeah, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Egbo here. She's gotten a slightly extended run here on these road games, and that could just be coincidentally due to not being in foul trouble for that game. But all in all, her potential upside we've seen, especially at the beginning of this year when she was getting these deep minutes, is she's live, for a double pretty much any game here, given I would say 25 anywhere from 25 to 28 minutes. But for her range of outcomes here and this incredible pace up spot here, honestly, on both sides of the ball, plus 3-ball opportunity from both sides, you could see her easily clear, 7-8 rebounds and probably 3/4 of action if she's in any kind of foul trouble. That could give you a little bit of a buffer to snag some fourth quarter run if the game's still close there. Just for the pace up spot here, I think that attacking these rebound props are very interesting for today on both sides.
Yeah, and one thing I was wondering, get your thoughts on, with Tina gone, and Phoenix probably going to run pretty guard heavy and small. It's probably continue to run Turner at the 5. Would Indiana try to match that and reduce any of the minutes for Egbo or Emily? Or maybe just Emily off the bench?
That's definitely a concern and something that I don't think, pre-flop predicting that is going to be totally out of the question. But if Nalissa is having a reasonable game tonight, I think that they're going to continue with her having success there. But if she's in any kind of foul trouble, you could see some of these secondary pieces come off the bench. I think, honestly, it's going to be Emily that we'll see as a direct beneficiary from this. But I'm not going to have much confidence in any of these secondary pieces from Indiana, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns there. But I mean, the one plus side for Egbo would be in this matchup with Tina gone and Brianna Turner playing a lot at the 5 in the center position in the paint, probably less opportunity to draw a lot of fouls. So maybe she can stay out of foul trouble more so with Tina gone. Because as we all know, Brianna Turner is not an offensive threat at all. It's more
not
like
aggressive.
a Draymond Green of the WNBA. So that makes me feel a little more secure about Egbo. It's just a matter of, do we want to go with a solo stat like her points or rebound, or do we just capture it all with her fantasy or PRA? Because she was pretty efficient in that last matchup where she stayed out of foul trouble. She only had 2 fouls. She picked up 20 PRA. They have her PRA at 15.5.
Yeah, that was my kind of the one I'm eyeballing if I am going to play any of her props today. Didn't have any warm and fuzzies on either the real points or the rebounding, but in this opportunity, the rebounding is definitely there. I think the more comfortable click is probably going to be either the PRA or the fantasy.
Okay. Yeah, they even have a 1.5 block plus steal prop for her. She's averaging about 2.4. But I might be a little hesitant on it because we know Brianna Turner is not going to take that many shots in the paint. So it might be a little bit less block opportunity, or maybe there's more if some of these guards are driving more to the paint. And I guess lastly, a secondary piece who we've targeted recently, but it's always risky because it feels more like a trap. Fool's gold is Danielle Robinson because her props are always really low, and for good reason. But they have dropped it even more so. She's been sitting around 13 to 14 PRA. Now they have her at 12 and a half. And they have her fantasy down to 16. Could you roll the dice on her?
Yes, because we're on a 2-game slate here,
Right.
but if this was any other night, I wouldn't even give it a second thought, to be honest. Just, we don't know who the secondary piece is, if they're going to go with Robinson there, or if they're going to pull from the bench and go to Henderson. We've seen that a little bit more recently as well. Or if the starters are playing well, the coach will play them all for 30 plus minutes and just sprinkle in that last 8 to 10 minutes for the bench players, and we don't really get anything going. I know we were fairly high on the unders for a lot of these secondary pieces for Indiana last time. I think in
Yeah.
particular for Victoria, like her assist or her fantasy, we were on the unders for that.
I mean, it totally makes sense. Like you said, Indiana's bottom 2 in offensive rating, so it would make sense if you want to target some unders. And with how well Phoenix plays at home and how well their defense has improved as of late in the month of June, totally get it. Okay, so from that, I'm going to mark for Indiana targets, string targets. Do we want to go Egbo first?
Yeah, we could go there. Just her props are the lowest and didn't see quite the adjustment that the entire team stood.
Okay, and then next, do we want Kelsey or the list of any other props? Or we just stay away?
I do like some of the pieces here, just with this high game total. I don't know if I want to separate this into like single game cards or some of the overlap. I feel you got to have one piece from Indiana, one of these main 3.
Sure. I mean more inclined for Egbo, but just under the assumption that she can stay out of foul trouble in this matchup now.
Yeah.
Although I will say that Taurasi and Skylar are very good at drawing fouls. They're up there in the league in free throw attempts per game. So
yeah, and actually Taurasi's been doing that a lot more as of late,
yeah.
which is kind of weird. It seems like, Skylar's backed off a little bit, and we've seen her assist rating climb up, and now we have Taurasi who's driving more, and her scoring usage is going up a little bit. So it's kind of like they're flip-flopping these roles, but I think they just need a little spark on the offense here. Like they were just tired of it, and now they have a fresh look with Petty, especially starting in the place of their team, and now we have Cunningham back to the starters. It's a brand new offense.
Yeah. I mean, I would say as another piece, I probably would want exposure to Kelsey's points or Victoria's points. If they're both going to take majority of the shots here.
I like Mitchell's PRA a little bit more. They didn't juice that one too much.
That's true. Especially since they didn't give it exposure to her rebound.
Yeah.
And they juiced her assist. It would make sense to go with the PRA. I agree on that. The 25 and a half.
25 even, unless they bumped it again. Yeah, 25 even.
Okay. And if we're worried about a blowout here, let's take a look at the first half props for Indy. I guess Egbo would be risky in the sense if she gets into early foul trouble, but I mean her lines are really low. It's 7.5 PRA for the first half. And it looks like her minutes are pretty stable or high for first half.
You can say on the floor, it's definitely, as long as she doesn't get to that two fouls before early part of the second quarter, usually the coach will keep her in there for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, it looks like about 7.5. Oh yeah, they put 12 on here. It's not 12. Yeah, so it's like 11 to 12 minutes. Man, that's tempting. Even the 9.5 fantasy. I would probably just stick with the PRA and just hope she racks up a bunch of early rebounds and gets a couple buckets.
Yeah, and we saw her stocks were kind of right there at 2. If you get one in the first half, golden.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna put that as a third one. Wow, they have Robin's at 2.5 still. She's been there for forever, right?
I know it's our Dolson play on the other side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's about the only one I would trust for Indy on the first half, I think. All right, am I missing any other ones that stood out to you that you had marked?
I think you could still nominate Nalissa. I'm gonna say PRA. I don't think that she's good for at least another 10 rebounds here, but if you got to lean on one side or the other, that's okay. I feel like just she hasn't been scoring the ball like they need her to, and that's something that is probably going to get
Yeah.
addressed.
Well, she's a rookie, right? So
Yeah, they just keep going back and forth between when the team's gelling and everyone is doing well, and you actually see the whole team involved, and then it's just like we have stars and scrubs night, and it's these two players. They play 35 minutes, and if they do great, they win. If not, they lose.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna put Victoria 11.5 as a secondary mid tier. Okay, we can move on to Phoenix now. So this one's a little more interesting. This side of the ball, with like I said, with Tina gone, and now with Diamond moved to the bench. I think that happened like a week ago, or 21st or something like that.
Yeah, I think 2 games back.
Yeah, and so Petty is now moved into the starting role, and she played really well, and playmaking too. I think what stood out to me right away was her assist prop and her what was it? I think her fantasy. I think it's still too low. I feel like she would be someone that we could take advantage of because there's not much data on her new role on the team and now starting that PrizePicks has to go off of. So we can go more on our intuition here and game theory and how she's going to play in this new role in this matchup. So definitely want exposure to her. She's probably my favorite on Phoenix, besides obviously Skylar for her offensive production and the Deanosaur for her assist if she ever comes around to it. What are your thoughts on that? Or who stood out to you right away for Phoenix?
Yeah, the Petty 3 assist prop is probably one of our slam dunks tonight. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if that gets adjusted to 3.5 here before lock. We still have a lot of time in between, and if anybody else gets ruled out or if they shift up the starting line a little bit, that could break a little bit more in our favor. But as you said, PrizePicks hasn't really adjusted yet for not only the void with Charles being out, but the massive minutes increase that she's seeing. She played this last game, I think 35, it was either 33 or 35 minutes, and didn't really become the scorer that we're used to seeing in the first half, but was just, dishing out assists left and right and really doing what they need for defensive purposes. So I think if you don't want to go for just that low bar for the assists, you could definitely blanket it all with a fantasy score.
Yeah, because she fills a stat line. But she has a tendency to turn over because she tries to play make. So that's the only concern with the fantasy. But yeah, I mean, totally there with you on the assists. The last time they played Indiana, she had a 7 assists, and that was off the bench. Maybe in the starting role, it's hard to say because we don't have much sample size. Maybe being in the starting role, it could actually reduce her assist potential just because of Skylar and Deanna Sore racking up a lot of the assists and playmaking role and ball handling. So that remains to be seen. And that would be the only concern. Because sometimes when you're like, oh, this person had this many assists or points off the bench, and then they move into the starting role, and you automatically think it should get even more of a boost or enhancement. But sometimes it could be a negative for a certain stat line. So that's a just take that in consideration. But it's such a low line at 3 that I would still be okay with it for sure and like it a lot. Because, yeah, Taurasi, we call it dinosaur. She's just not playmaking lately. And, I mean, this is the lowest I've seen her assist prop at, was it 3 now?
I think so. There's
I mean,
maybe 3.5 still.
It's
Yeah,
3
3.
now.
Wow.
Yeah. That's tempting, right? So I think you're gonna have to make a decision. Because I wouldn't play both because they're definitely gonna negatively correlate, obviously, between her and Petty's assist line. So right, maybe you get exposure on one card to one of them and one on the other because they're both very low at 3 and both have a very good potential to push, if not anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's it's a tough call. But yeah, I mean, yeah, she's just right there on the assist. And I would think that Tina being out could hurt her assist potential even more so just because Tina was shooting so many threes. And Taurasi was just dribbling it down and dishing it out to her on the 3-point line. And that accounted for some of her assists. But Tina actually racked up quite a bit of assists. I think she had, 6 in this last matchup? 4. Okay. Just because she was playing so much at the 3-point line towards the end of her stint with Phoenix, she was definitely passing it more on pick and roll.
Yeah. And
yeah, it's hard to say because it's such a small sample size, but I think we can take advantage of those low assist lines for Dinosaur and Petty. That I would probably mark 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I like it. And, just kind of circling back to some of the key pieces here, we had Turner, her being just so passive with the offense. I feel like that's really going to offset a lot of the maybe missed opportunity for some of the additional scoring. But since she's going to be so passive and they only have, basically 3 other scorers outside of Petty to put in any kind of work. We saw before the first quarter ended, both Taurasi and Skylar, they had, I believe, 6+ shot attempts in just that first stint with the starters. So that was pretty insane to see. And I believe Petty picked up a couple assists just to open right out of the gate there. And we have Cunningham rolling now into the starters as well, and she's kind of filling that role that Charles had there of being the being one of the high centers, but still pulling the defender out to the 3-point line in order to leave Turner in a one-on-one down low. So I think that it might cut into some of the opportunity, but I feel honestly with the change of pace and the faster production coming out of these starters that it's boding a little bit better for us. And maybe Taurasi is going to take a backseat to Petty. And as far as, being the playmaker, now she can just worry about being a little bit more on defensive side and just taking the open threes or driving the lane like she's been doing a little bit more lately.
That's true. So if you didn't want to go with Taurasi's assists, you could definitely go with her 2.5 threes under that game theory and pair it with Petty's 3 assists, that would totally make sense. Or like you said, if she's driving more, you can go with her 3.5 free throws. She's averaging almost over 4 free throws made a game.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, in Indiana, like I said, they allow the most free throw attempts in the league, so they foul at the highest rate. Totally makes sense. And then also another low line would be her 2.5 turnovers. But with Indiana being such a poor defensive unit, it might have less turnover opportunity here, but doesn't mean she still can't turn it over. I think, what did she have? She had 2 turnovers in the last matchup. Yeah, I think all those low lines could be appealing if you didn't want to go with her 3 assists. So, okay. And then let's move to Skylar. If you wanted to play either Deanna Soares' assist or Petty's assist, could you get behind Skylar's 19.5 points now that Tina's gone? Even more scoring opportunity against the worst defense by far in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with her kind of, playing with this reinvigorated energy now. She really burned us the other night after we hyped her up, and she only, I think, got 13 points or just something really, really disappointing night. But now they're going to be back at home tonight with this huge pace up spot here and virtually no defense on the other side. I wouldn't expect her to have, an insane amount of free throws tonight, but that's going to help at least pad our real points. And she took a lot of sweet threes the other night. And I mean, honestly, just her shot form looks like she's been hiding a little bit and she's ready to really show off for the home crowd.
Yeah. I mean, with Tina out, that's what, 5 to 8 3-point attempts per game to go around to all these guards. So totally makes sense.
Yeah, at about 10 to 15 shots.
Yeah, they only have her at 1.5 3. I would probably like that if I was going to go with the 3-point prop for Phoenix. I'd probably like that more than Taurasi's. And then I guess, man, yeah, they could really juice their fantasy up to 40.5. That's just crazy.
Yeah, we need 4 quarters for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you on the 3-point made and the free throws made for Skylar. Would you rank those ahead of her 19.5 for all point prop?
That's hard to say. I think that kind of is going to go with whatever game or card theory you're building. If you're expecting 3 good solid quarters, any of those are probably going to be live. But if they're going to, not see even 3 quarters, that's going to be kind of risky to go with full game prop or the full game point prop for her.
I guess we could take a look at her first half and how she's been doing lately with her scoring. Now that Diamond's coming off the bench, probably even more scoring opportunity for her because we've seen Diamond thrive in the first half. Yeah, it's right there. 9.5. If you were just concerned about the blowout.
Yeah, and it's so close. Yeah, I would love it if it was at 9 or 8.5, but
yeah, it's right there. Okay. Yeah, probably like I probably like the 1.5 threes the most for her. Like you were saying, of the game theory of that, picking up more Tina shots, and she's gonna start opening it up more from the 3-point line. And yeah, 3-point props, pairing that with assist props, like I always say, really strong correlation because it's more catch and shoot and more opportunity for assist. Okay. Any other Phoenix that we want to highlight now that we have new players in the starting lineup like Sophie Cunningham and different rotations here?
yeah, I think for Cunningham, I'd give her a small shout out for either. I think the PRA, just because she is a 3-and-D kind of player for the team, The 4.5 rebounds is probably a close second for her. I think honestly those are the only two that I really like for most of the team. Small consideration for Bree Turner, her rebounding. I know it's a little high at 7.5, but she actually has a pretty immaculate history versus Indiana.
Oh yeah, I mean she had 10 that last matchup, and that was with Tina playing and starting. Yeah, I mean it's a perfect spot for her. Indiana gives up the most points in the paint. They really struggle against the center position, which Turner's going to be playing majority of her minutes at. I could get behind her rebounds or points, honestly. I mean the points is always risky because she could take around 5 or less field goal attempts, but they tend to find her cutting to the basket against weak defenses, which you can't find a weaker defense in it than Indiana, especially in the paint. So you could definitely get behind one of those for her. I mean, Phoenix should be pretty popular today for good reason. I mean, Indiana is a team you always want to target, kind of like Houston Rockets of the NBA, except the Rockets had a better offense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of, I think, attackable spots here from Phoenix side of things tonight. PrizePicks is definitely tightened up on the grip here, so there's not nearly as many free squares and things to pick from, and we've seen that they've actually got fairly aggressive in adjusting lines closer to locks. So if you guys got some early gut calls, you might want to do a couple small 2-3 picks or something just to get them before they change.
Okay. Are we ready to catch up with chat?
Yeah, get caught up here and get ready
All right.
for the second game.
Okay. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I guess we didn't talk about Diamond off the bench. Is it too risky since, like, I know it's a small sample size, just like 2 or 3 games with her playing off the bench. Her minutes seem to be all over the place off the bench. I think the most recent one she played 25 minutes, and then against Minnesota, the game before that, she played 19 minutes. So I don't know if we can trust the minutes here with the coach, with the new Phoenix coach. Or no, sorry, it's not the new Phoenix coach. I was thinking about LA, but I don't know. Is it too risky in your opinion? Since they did not really adjust her lines to this new role, they pretty much kept her lines at her season average, like 14.5 points. She's averaging 14 on the season, and her rebounds right there with her season average too.
Yeah, she's got a couple that I think are could be plays, but it's going to be a risk tolerance just because of, as you mentioned, the minutes risk here. Some of the smaller kind of single digit props I think are definitely in play in between her stocks at 2 or even her free throw at 2.5.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the free throw just here for the foul matchup, and if by chance they get any tech calls on the second unit, she's going to be taking those shots.
Yeah, and imagine if it blows out, she should get a lot of those garbage time minutes too, even more so now. She used to even when she started. But I imagine she does more locked in now coming off the bench. The free throw is one that definitely stood out to me the most for her. So I'm with you on that one. My only reservation was that, like, her minutes, if for any reason she plays less than 20 minutes total, it's just really risky with free throw props because obviously it's just less opportunity to get to the line. But she is going to be going against second unit players who are probably more likely to foul too. So I'll mark it. I get behind it.
Yeah, and another kind of, like, I guess, small nudge to it is the free throw allotment before you get to your technical free throws. At least her not being with the starting unit, she'll be coming in towards the end of that where they're close to their team fouls.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think all of the Phoenix guards and forwards free throw props can be considered in this matchup because it's Indiana. It's just nailing down which one gets to the line the most, obviously. And I think that last game it was Diamond. Yeah, she went to the line 6 times, the most on the team. So but she did play 23 minutes. That's probably accurate minute projection for her today off the bench. I would project anywhere from 19 to 24 minutes, so
Yeah.
anywhere in that range. So it's definitely there for her, game script wise. So all right, let's catch up with chat and we'll move on to the next one. Let's see what chat's got here. Jermaine said, glad you guys are back. Definitely missed y'all's input. Hey, man, appreciate that. Yeah, definitely glad to be back with you guys. Faux show. Flo said, Yurt. I assume this has to be Yurt. She just said the best unders. I think so far we talked about going under on some of the Indiana players like Victoria. Eric mentioned her assist or her PRA. And then, yeah, I think depending on what if they give us Emily's props, we can maybe consider under on her PRA, just due to the game theory that she plays less minutes. But that's under the assumption that Egbo can keep her hands to herself. Because if Queen Egbo gets into foul trouble, I mean Emily's definitely gonna pick up more minutes. I knew Cowboy was gonna call out his all-time favorite Victoria. He loves him, Victoria. Hey, if you got a good feeling again about her today, Cowboy, definitely go with her. I mean, the scoring potential is always there, and she's going to take a lot of shots. And even though Phoenix's defense is improving, it's still not anything to be too scared of. So, and it's still pretty low at 11.5. If you don't want to go with Kelsey's 19.5, totally get it. Cowboy said Phoenix is still struggling to cover guards. Yeah, because, I mean, Deannasaur's sold. Corey said Kelsey's free throws. So we did not look at that. Yeah, I mean, it's right there, almost at her season average. What did she have left? I closed out. I mean, I assume she took a lot because how much she handles the ball.
In their previous meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. She had 3 free throw attempts.
Yeah.
Went 2 for 3.
Yeah, I would say it's a 50-50.
I'm not sure how this kind of cover is going to happen with Phoenix on the other side. I'm curious to see if they're going to have Petty or I think Petty honestly is probably going to shadow Kelsey most of this game.
That would make sense, and yeah, you would want Skylar or Tarasi guarding her because they foul at a really high rate. They're averaging over 3 fouls per game, so. If they ended up guarding her a lot off of switches on pick and rolls and anything like that, then I could see her clearing that free throw line. Prop. Young C Music said, Josh, what up, bro? Hey, what up, man? Glad to see you here. Oh, yeah. This is what I also been missing. Oh, did not mean to do that one. The bot. Okay, everyone has a explicit comments. I can't show the bot, but what's up, bot? I believe Gunn did not have any bots in his MLB stream before this one. So maybe it is me. I don't know. Pat Nasty said Sykes points. Okay, yeah, we're going to get to that one. That game next. Julian said Gray is out. Yeah, Chelsea Gray is out, which we'll cover in next game. Guida said I can get with Sophie PRA. Okay. You can add that to the list, Guida. We did not talk about our PRA.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh, you mentioned that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so 13.5. Definitely. I mean, look at this. Look at this list. We obviously like Phoenix today.
Well, they've been on the road for so long now.
They have, yeah.
We just haven't been able to have a chance to bet on them at home.
Yeah, and then the next team we're going to go over has been playing at home for so long in Las Vegas. So, John Browning said Turner rebound. Yeah, we liked her rebound and her points, both of those. Cowboy said her rebounds have stayed at 7.5. Wouldn't surprise if they bump her. So, have I over the last week since I've been gone Have they been making live adjustments before lock? Because I noticed prior to last week they weren't adjusting lines at all like they did for NBA.
Some were, not so much for injury. I think they did for Phoenix whenever we knew that Charles was out, but even that, I think they pulled the props for like maybe 15 minutes, if that, and then they were already adjusted.
Okay. Elaine Gonzalez said, "Will you go under on Skylar's fantasy? I know it's high, but this matchup against the worst defense and one of the fastest teams, I think it's too risky to go under. If anything, I'll just fade her fantasy, um, and just go with like her 1.5 3-point made or 19.5 full point prop. It's just I mean I think in my opinion I know it's high, but against one of the worst teams, um, it's risky. She just has a ceiling game." Jason said, do you take a chance on Indiana and LA Sparks half 3-point made in first 6 minutes? Okay, so it's a good question. Since Phoenix does allow the third most 3-point made, although Indiana is bottom in the league in 3-point attempts, they just don't take that many threes. If they're going to do it, it's going to be because of Victoria or Kelsey hitting their threes right away from the get-go. I haven't been playing those props so recently. Do you have a lean on that, Eric, or are you going to stay away?
Probably going to stay away here. PrizePicks has been pretty savvy to most of these points or whatever made in 6-minute props. Any of the, I mean, I think as a general rule of thumb, you could take a shot on any of them that are at 0.5. Not feeling quite as confident on Indiana. If I had to pick, I think I would go with the Sparks at 0.5, but not really. Most of these are going to be fairly priced appropriately. And we've also seen some of these starters just have a really flat first rotation, and some of them don't get hot until like late first quarter, late second quarter kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I think we're caught up. Let's go to the next game. So the next game we have Las Vegas. Both these teams have played twice already, and recently, I think within the last week or two. Las Vegas at LA Sparks. Las Vegas Aces, they are 8.5-point favorites, and we got a huge implied total here at 174.5. That's really high for WNBA. If you're not familiar with Vegas lines for WNBA, that's pretty high. On most nights, most games will be around low of around 150, 152, all the way up to around like 160 something, mid 160s. But this is at 174.5, so this is on the upper ceiling level. I would say that Las Vegas has been struggling lately. They started the season really strong. I mean, which makes sense. They have really stout players in Asia Wilson, Plum, Jackie Young. But in the month of June, they're allowing league high 88 points per game. So their defense has definitely plummeted. And maybe that's because 7 of their 13 wins have come against bottom tier teams with a collective record of 19-36. So maybe some of those defensive rating stats are inflated because of the easy matchups. And they've been playing it at home a lot recently, which is kind of surprising because they are allowing league high points in the month of June. But yeah, I think this could be a perfect bounce back spot since they were coming off a 2-game losing streak, except they recently beat Washington by, what was it, 1 point? I don't know if it went to overtime or not, but they barely beat them. That was last week when I was gone. And yeah, I mean, going on the road, which they're actually pretty good on the road, maybe could just change things up for them, change the scenery, and get them a spark under them where they can beat the Sparks So I think it's setting up game theory wise bounce back spot here, and Vegas agrees with that, having them at 8.5-point favorites. The 2 times they did play each other, massive blowouts in favor of Las Vegas. 89-72 was the most recent matchup, and then the previous matchup early in the season, Las Vegas won at home 104-76. So yeah, it's definitely a spot here which makes sense for Las Vegas to win. But I will say that with Chelsea Gray out and the rotation probably changing up, maybe there's some room for Los Angeles to pull an upset or cover the spread. But the thing with Los Angeles I noticed is like they are so up and down and inconsistent and hard to predict. Like one game they'll shoot below 30%, and the next game they'll go and shoot 40+%, almost 50%, and beat against the second best defense in Seattle and beat them. So their offense is just all over the place. And yeah, maybe it wasn't Derek Fisher in the sense of just overall coaching. I mean, his rotations were bad, but it's just maybe this team is just not gelling this season. So it's hard for prop betting because of how inconsistent they are offensively to predict what you're going to get out of them. Just something I wanted to point it out overall. Another key stat I wanted to point out is that LA, they generate majority of their offense and points off of turnovers. They're ranking like second in the league in this stat, points off turnovers. But Las Vegas, they cough up the ball at the league lowest 11.9 times per game. And yeah, they only allowed 13 points off of turnovers per game, which is like a league low. So they don't turn the ball over. They're very efficient. So that does not bode well for Los Angeles if majority of their offense is coming off of points off of turnovers. Just wanted to point out that key stat. But let's start with Las Vegas, the away team. One of my favorites besides Jewel and Brianna Stewart is Kelsey Plum. As we all know, she's a fan favorite of ours. I think on the last stream we did, I pointed out her points and assists, and I think she cleared both maybe in that game against Washington, right?
Yeah, I think she was at 19.5 or 20.
She was at 19.5. She barely cleared her points, but she cleared her assists too because her assists were at 6. Or
I think they were 5.5.
Oh, it was a Chicago game the last stream we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now with Chelsea out, they did not touch her real point prop. It stayed at 20.5. That's what it opened at. They did bump her assists up to 6.5 from 6. But I definitely think there's some things we can target here with Chelsea being out. So we should probably work that out together. First thing before handing out to you, this stood out to me. I always like Kelsey's scoring here. Obviously her assists too. Probably have exposure to both. And they did bump her PRA. Okay, they bumped that as well. So I'll probably say that. And then another one that stood out to me with Chelsea being out and how bad of a rebounding team LA is, I really liked Jackie Young's rebound prop at 3.5. It's one I marked right away. I think she could have 5+ rebounds here, especially with Chelsea out and going against LA. See what she did not play in the most recent game against LA, but she played earlier this season.
I think she had 9 rebounds.
Yeah, she had 9 rebounds. I know you always have to worry about Asia because she's the best rebounder in the league. But with how inefficient LA's offense can be and can go through these cold stints, like I just think that 3.5 is too low for Jackie. So that's one that stood out to me. And playing that prop lets you play Kelsey's real points if you want to go that route. But if you wanted to go with Jackie scoring, you could always pair that with Kelsey's 6.5 assists. And then Asia Wilson, all her stuff got juiced appropriately. So 41.5 fantasy. Their PRA is up to 31. Let's see how much did they juice her after Chelsea. Okay, so she went up to 42 fantasy. Her PRA went up as well. Her rebounds stayed at 9.5, and her points went up by 1 as well. Okay, so that's what stood out to me right away. Curious to hear your thoughts and what are thoughts on the game theory with Chelsea being out and going against LA on the road.
Yeah, I definitely love Young. Her rebounds at 3.5.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that was going to get adjusted, and personally, I still think that's going to be adjusted.
4?
So yeah, I think that's going to get moved to 4 absolutely before lock.
It should. It totally should.
I think it's still in play. Definitely not a slam dunk like it is right now at 3.5. But Vegas is kind of interesting. We really haven't seen too many injuries from this team. We've basically had a lot of the secondary pieces out, and most of our starters are playing, 30 plus minutes a night. So I love that call for Plum. Her either real points if she's going to pick it up and put the team on her shoulder like she seems to do every game, or the assist category. With Chelsea Gray being out, she was averaging anywhere from 5 to 7 assists over this last couple of weeks here. So that's going to be a huge void to fill. And Plum is definitely the person to go to for that. One thing that I do want to note, you could correlate with Plum's assist here if you wanted to go the rebounding, or if you even wanted to go with, I think Asia Wilson's real points are still in play tonight. If you just kind of look at some of the way they play this game in game theory, she tends to pull Cambridge out to the 3-point line, and a lot of the history, you can see that she's had her season high or tie for the season high 3-point attempts, and a lot of that's just because Cambridge is so slow and so tired. She gets a completely uncontested shot almost every time. And really just being able to attack that inside line and work over some of these, Cambridge with a little bit of fatigue up and down the court, but also NECA having to really pick up the offensive scoring and a lot of their defensive metrics. She's tired, and those are the only 2 defenders on the inside to stop Asia. And, as you alluded to, maybe Vegas's defense isn't as stout as they were to open the season, but their offense is number 1 and number 1 pace for a reason. Like, they are going to score the ball, and that's not going to change whether a piece here or there is out. So I'm curious to see what the starting line is going to look like for Vegas here. If we got Plesac in the starting lineup, that could be some interesting low lines. But it's going to be really hard for Seattle or for the Sparks to stop this front court and a lot of these quick guards. They're not a good transitional defense.
Yeah, I totally agree. We got some recent news. I was just checking to see if we had any news on Las Vegas, but we didn't. But Rashonda Gray signs with Phoenix, and Jenny Sims re-signs with Phoenix. So, yeah, I was kind of thinking that Teresa would move into the starting role now, but I just wasn't sure, so I left it blank net for now. And we'll just have to wait on that news for who's going to replace Chelsea today. Yeah, now that Jackie's starting to get back into form, because she missed some time, over the last 3 weeks or something like that. She's starting to really improve scoring wise, getting back to how she was earlier this season, playing lights out along with Kelsey. Maybe the assist is the way to go with Kelsey, even though they got bumped by 0.5. Both matchups she had exactly 8 assists and exactly 17 points. Maybe something changes, but I think she would have definitely cleared her point prop in the most recent matchup if she didn't shoot so poorly from 3. She was 1 of 7. So she shot 3 of 7, which she usually does. then she would obviously clear that. So I'm on the fence. I'll probably have exposure to both her Plum's real points and assists, and then yeah, I like that idea of pairing Plum's assists with Asia Wilson's real points because as you can see, Asia just feasted in both matchups. She had 35 real points, dominated the field goal attempts, 23 field goal attempts, and then the game prior to that, earlier in the season, she had 24 real points. And took a lot less shots, but still got it done. Super efficient.
Yeah,
So
and a little revenge narrative too. You know, going up, squaring up against her former teammate with Cambridge.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. I like that pairing. I think that's a really strong. I mean, you could even run a card with all three of Jackie Young's 3.5 rebound, Plum 6.5 assists, and Asia's 21 points. And I wouldn't blame you, but you definitely want exposure to Phoenix. So if you want to just do 2 Las Vegas and then 2 Phoenix, totally makes sense. And I'll always nominate her Asia's rebounding just because the potential is sky high for her rebounding, especially against one of the bottom 3 rebounding teams in LA. They are 10th out of 12th in rebound percentage. So they really struggle to rebound and get dominated on the glass. Okay, and then any thoughts on Hamby now that Chelsea Gray is out?
I think her fantasy score could still probably be in play. We've seen her really just kind of cruising in that high 30 range, picking up a few extra stocks, but she's been looking real good on that 3-point line. We saw her kind of go through this dry spell at the beginning of the season where she really wasn't attacking much on the exterior and was really hanging around. You know, was our lock for the PRA there, but now she's opening up the games with quite a few long ball, and we've seen that that's really played into their kind of strategy here, just to keep foot on the gas, 3-point first team unless they fool the defense and then they get them quick on the inside. But that's been their bread and butter all year. You know, I don't think they have any reason to change that.
Yeah. I just, for some reason, lost connection with my mouse.
Okay.
1 second. So you want to go with her fantasy over her PRA?
I don't know. Which one are you leaning towards?
I was gonna say probably her PRA. But yeah, I'm just scared of Jackie Young, Plum, and Asia Wilson dominating all the usage and shot attempts. What do they have a rebound at? I forget.
I think it was 8. Yeah, 8.
Okay.
They're both just right there on the line.
I see what happened. Mouse died. I'm just gonna connect this other one. So you keep going. I'll move this over to we can start on LA side. While I get this mouse connected.
Yeah, we'll flip over here, check out the Sparks. So, as we mentioned, Cambridge going up against her former team here. Still not, for me personally, I'm still not trusting any of Cambridge props. She's had all the opportunity in the world and just can't stay on the floor. Picking up a lot of fouls, but specifically picking up offensive fouls more so recently. So that's actually played into her fantasy score going down even further. Honestly, at this point, you could probably consider taking some unders on her. I think for this particular pace, she's going to end up being more of a liability, especially if we have some of these more quick cutting guards that are going to attack the inside, and she's going to foul. So that's going to be interesting to see kind of play out all in all. But for me personally, I think I'm going to stick with some of the quicker defenders in case the Sparks do go small ball here. In particular, I really liked Katie Lou, her 3.5 rebounds. I think that's for her size and for the amount of 3 points that are going to go back and forth here. She could easily fall back into this. And we've seen, for the year, her average is right there at 3. And currently, if we got Chene out again, we're going to see a ton of rebounds open up for the team here.
Okay, I fixed it. Sorry. Okay. So who was your top one so I can add it to the list?
I really liked Katie Samuelson, her 3.5 rebounds.
I had marked that too, so we're on the same page. That was the first thing that stood out to me as well.
Yeah, just a crazy pace up spot here on both sides. Going to shoot a lot of threes. She shoots the 3 ball as well. PRA is a little bit higher. She doesn't really contribute much in the assist category. And outside of really Plum, Vegas doesn't turn the ball over too much. So I don't think there's much in the stock upside here. You could maybe consider the 3 points at 2, but just the bar is so low at 3.5 rebounds. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, totally behind that. And then did you touch on Liz? So I missed last week, obviously, and I think they played two games last week, 2 or 3, and was there a reason why all her lines have gone way down?
She just can't stay on the floor. She's fouled. I think she fouled out in one game and then picked up a ton in the other.
Yeah, they really nerfed her PRA, real points, and fantasy. It's not a good matchup by any means.
No, and we're basically seeing a repeat from their last game too, where they played against Seattle, Big Stu, and a lot of these bigger front courts or more sizable front courts that are really good on the up and down defense. They're just going to wear her out. And coach, she only played her 15 minutes in that game, and mostly that was just because she was such a defensive liability. Once a play broke, she's always going to be the last person down the court or the first person back on defense if they don't score.
Yeah, I mean, her fantasy is really going to hinge on her block upside. She's going to have to get it done with the stocks because, yes, she's not – in this matchup, I feel like she's not going to get it done scoring, not as much so rebounding here. The most recent matchup, she had, 4 stocks?
Yeah, and some of those were very fluky. One of them, she shouldn't have even got the stock. Somebody else hit the ball, and it fell into her hand, so she got credit.
And the game before that, she had 3 she wouldn't have cleared her fantasy there in that game, just short. It's right there on the line if she continues this type of production. And, yeah, I mean, this matchup is not good for her at all, like you said. And she had 6 points, real points, most recent one, and 10 in the earlier this season when she was more productive. Okay. And then besides Katie, did you touch on any of your other favorites? Well, I was fixing my mouse. Sorry, I missed out listening on the ones that you liked.
No, you're good. I was actually just getting ready to get to some of those pieces.
Okay.
I think we got to talk about Sykes or NECA. One of those two is really going to play a key piece in this, and I feel like we just get in these back and forth spots between the two of them on, are we getting the offensive output side, or are we getting the defensive shadow and they're just kind of hanging around? So that's my only concern or pushback.
Yeah. I mean, so most recent matchup, Sykes played off the bench. Didn't really do much except turn the ball over. in the game earlier this season she did start. But both games she played around 20 minutes. Expect her to play more than that, I assume, in this today, right?
It's hard to say. Vegas, with not having Gray out, if they go with Plesac in the starting lineup, they're going to have a bigger, slightly slower pace here. But presenting that big front court, they could go big on the other side, or if they want to switch it up and go small ball. A lot of that, I think, is going to depend on what our starting lineup is, because we could also have, Jordan and Chanae out tonight, and she might have to come back in the starting lineup, or she could be sole ball handler in the second unit again.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, the most recent game they played was against Seattle, who teams tend to go big against. She played 31 minutes in that matchup, played the entire second quarter, but I think there was some foul trouble here. Olivia had 4 fouls. So would you want to go with her PRA or her points? It's scary with if the minutes are going to be all over the place.
It's a tough spot. I mean, for her season production, I don't think we're getting 15 field goal attempts again. That's definitely not going to happen. But just being at 9 points, if she's going to shoot the 3 ball a little bit more, or I should say, I would like to see her shoot the 3 ball a little bit more. But if her shot volume is going to be that high, then her points, I think, would be our safest play. But she had 8 assists too, man. That's just crazy. I wonder if that's because Jordan was out for that game.
Oh yeah, that's going to be key news to watch too, because both her and Carter are both questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if one of them are out, or if for any reason both are out, that would, I mean, yeah, Sykes would be a lock. But even if one of them were out, if Jordan's out, I could get behind that. But I mean, if Jordan, Canada, or Carter are out, could we get behind Lexi Brown? Do you think they'll give us props for her?
You would think so. We had her props earlier on in the season, so they are in the bag somewhere. I would hope so, but they could sandbag the starting lineup again, and we might not get it out in time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll put 1A 9.5 points and 1B 15.5 for Sykes. But again, I think a lot of it depends on injury news for Canada and Carter.
Yeah, specifically, I think Canada, she's the bigger piece here for Sykes.
Yeah. And Neko, is there a particular prop you like for her? I mean, I always like targeting her. I feel like if LA, if they're going to stay in this, they're going to need her offense big time.
Leaning a little more towards points or fantasy? I know fantasy's kind of been our go-to.
It has been. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, she just does everything and fills the stat line.
She did get 9 rebounds against them too.
Yeah. Let's just hope that they don't get blown out like that first time.
Yeah.
That's what scares me. It's just definitely shows you that it's in the range of outcomes. One thing I wanted to look at first half. If Sykes is going to play that many minutes in the first half again, 4.5 points is what I was thinking about. Wow, so we're getting a 0.5 discount, right? Because it's 9.5 full game.
Yeah.
Okay. And her PRA was what?
For the full game,
Yeah.
it is 15.5, 15 and a half.
So why is her first half 7? It's 1.5 discount.
Yeah, they've been a little the first half to full game props. There's been some discrepancies.
Obviously it's strategic, right?
No, they had some like straight up boo-boos the other day. Like I think right before you left, we had one on like Chelsea Gray, or it was some piece that was going off in the first half, and they like reposted it at 5.5 for their second half PRA, and it was just a free square.
So they'll probably fix it.
Either that, or they're assuming she won't play the normal or the same rotation that she had this last time.
I mean, the last 2 games she's played the entire second quarter.
Yeah, and that's closer to what her earlier season production was looking like.
I don't know. I feel like it's too low. I know first halves can burn you and it's risky, cutting the potential in half, but I could roll the dice and get behind her playing entire second quarter again today, like she has the last 2 games. And if she does that, I mean, 7 PRA.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 3, a rebound, and 2 buckets or something. It's good, honestly, just kind of as a rule of thumb. If you see glaring differences like that, that's probably a mistake.
Yeah, she gets it done in the second quarter with her assists and a little bit of rebounding. But she definitely misses a lot of shots in the second quarter. So with that said, I would probably go her PRA over her 4.5 points. All right, I'm gonna mark that for anybody who likes to clear their. I'm gonna put that ahead of her full game. Anyone who likes to clear their props early. Okay. Sorry for the sidetrack there. So, did we want to go any other props? I wasn't really keen on Sparks besides Katie's rebound and maybe Sykes' PRA.
No, I think honestly that's going to be about it. This is going to be a true test to see if the Sparks have any kind of a team here, or if they've just been, that disappointing team that we've been playing all year.
So up and down. Which makes me think it's coaching. Like when you see inconsistencies like that.
It's definitely possible. We had a lot of hope for Cambridge in particular to step up and really impress us, and so far it's just been a bunch of flops left and right, and waiting to see a real team here.
She was our Honeywell earlier this season. It's unfortunate, but natural ebb and flow of a season. Maybe she turns a corner, but I doubt it's going to be this matchup. I have Chrissy Tolliver starting. Is that correct?
Yeah, she jumped into the starting lineup 3 games ago or 2 games ago. It was a last-minute decision. Definitely threw a lot of us off.
Yeah, she's playing about 25 to 28 minutes. I guess look out for her props. They're just waiting on Canada's news and Carter. I assume. Who did she start in place for? Was it Canada who missed last game?
I believe Canada.
Yeah.
She doesn't really do a whole lot for the offense, but she's out there.
All right. I think the one other thing we want to look at, I want to look at before we catch up with chat and do our team stream card would be free throw props and 3-point props. So the Sparks are giving up the third most free throws, and they are first in the amount of 3 points made. They're giving up the most 3-pointers. So I wanted to touch on that because we did not look into that in detail, but I think all of these players for Las Vegas, their free throw props are live. It's just whatever one you have a good gut feel on. All of them are, especially Asia and Jackie are averaging almost close to 4 free throws made. And they're both at 3.5. So if you want a lower line for those, but I would stick with Jackie's rebound over her free throw. But yeah.
Yeah, I really like the Asia free throws. We've seen that Cambridge, keep harping on it, but both sides of the ball, she's just fouling like crazy. And Asia, just being such a quick defender, she's going to make a lot of their lives difficult tonight.
Yeah. Oh, and I want to look at 3-point made. So they only gave us plums. Okay, so never mind. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's catch up with chat and then let's do our team stream.
All right.
All right. Okay, Aguita said, love Jackie Young today more than Kelsey. I assume you're talking about for her scoring. So, yeah, I would pair Plum's assists with Jackie's points then. Or like Eric and I agreed on with Asia's points. Forex Whitaker said, Asia Wilson over on points. FanDuel line is at 19.5. Oh, so FanDuel's doing WNBA props now? That's cool. I didn't realize that. Yeah, Eric mentioned it, and I agree with them on the points. Even though she got bumped from 20.5, I believe, to 21.5, we still like Asia's real points. Cowboys said fire up NECA. Yeah, she's always solid. I marked her for her 33.5 fantasy.
Especially if the other two are out tonight.
Mm-hmm. He also said, gotta tag Vegas with forwards. Katie Lou PRA and NECA's PRA. Yeah, I think her fantasy or PRA in play. But I like her stock upside too. And then Katie Lou, me and Eric independently really honed in on her rebound prop, but I get it for the PRA too. If you want some exposure outside of her rebounds. Io said, smash like for greatest WNBA process show. Hey, appreciate that, man. And I saw your Pistons making a lot of moves in the draft. I think they're shaping up to be a solid squad for sure. Jason Holland said, what's blowout risk? I guess if I mentioned that in stream, it's just the potential for a game to get out of hand if a team pulls away early on and gets a large lead. I don't know if he's being sarcastic there, but first halfway is the way to go. Yeah. Rita said, I'm with Asia and Plum free throw main. Yeah, definitely makes sense with how many free throw attempts that LA is allowing. And then what bot say here? Okay, cool. Like it. All right. Then you guys funnel in more questions if you have them as we build our team card. And we'll get to those at the very end after we're done building the team stream cards. All right. let's build 2. Give them a little bit more options here since it's a 2-game slate.
Okay.
So for the first one, you can go first, and the second one, I can go first. Just mix it up like that. Every other.
Yeah, we'll go with Shea Petty. I think her 3 assists is still one of the best plays.
All right.
We're going back and forth.
Yeah.
We making money?
What's up, man?
Bruh,
Hey,
this
we gotta
camera
go.
shot is
Cameo.
too. I got to fix the camera shot on this thing. I don't know how it works.
You got to get on these streams going forward, man.
All the baseball lineups came out, and then I was bored. And, yeah.
You liking baseball today?
A little bit. I did post some free picks in the free Gundecker Gaming Discord. Link to that's in the description below. So that's
Oh yeah.
good enough.
Maybe we can build a third card with the combo mixture of your.
Nah, no, don't do me like that.
Well, it's only 2-game slate for WNBA, so it makes sense if you want to mix in a little bit of MLB. Do you have two favorites?
Probably Jordan Montgomery fantasy, and then either Byron Buxton or Mike Trout fantasy. Buxton's on the road, so maybe him. Trey Turner leading off in quarters. There's a couple spots.
I know Buxton burned people recently, right?
Probably. It's baseball. Everyone's burnt. Everyone.
All right, we're gonna add those 2 as a mixture.
Bet.
And then WNBA.
Here we go. Gun special. I'm out of there.
I am gonna go. Stood out to me, Jackie Young's rebound.
Bro, how can I crop my stream, my cam? I look ridiculous. The green screen in the back is just like I have a much tighter shot on my stuff, but I guess we can't really crop on. Oh well.
Yeah, see, we need you here to host, man, because we can like hone in on the analysis more.
I can't analyze WNBA.
No, but you just host and lead, like
do the ad reads. Yeah, maybe I could.
The chat reads and just flow us through the games. It'll be fun.
Right.
Mix it up here and there on like late MLB slates. Okay, we're just this is one card here. We'll call this the WNBA MLB mixture. One of our favorite plays from each WNBA plays here, and then we'll build another one. It's just WNBA.
Yeah, do just WNBA. I'm not trying to get blamed.
I can for this one I can go back and add Petty again if you want, Eric.
For the our first card.
Yeah.
I'm in Eric's way. I don't know.
All right.
No, you're good.
Then,
You're getting blocked by the PrizePicks.
So I will say I know a lot of folks right now had their free entry for the 5X, and for me personally, I'm not using that tonight, or at least until we get a 3-game slate. But a lot of folks are probably going to be building like 4-card powers and flexes.
Bro, this freaking overlay! I'm trying to get a.
Okay. So we should do a 5 flex then too. We'll do 1, 4, and 1, 5. That's how we'll do it.
So we all can't do 5 flex. Okay, so anyone who's eligible for that 5K, they can't run any 5 flex is what they're saying, right? Up until they're ready for that moment. Okay.
Yeah, it auto applies on any 5-pick.
Okay. You're good.
What were the 2 that we have so far?
I went back to the Petty and assist and the Young rebound here this is WNBA card number 2, just WNBA.
Okay. Did you have Katie rebounds on the other one?
No.
Okay. Let's go back there. Rebounds at 3.5 on the over.
Like that. Um, okay, since we're gonna do one more card up to this, I want exposure to Plum's assist. Or her points, and then Asia's points as well. So I'll leave that for the next card. So for this one, if the math stays broken from the first half to full game for Sykes, I'm gonna stick with the first half 7 PRA and hope that she plays the normal rotation.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Hedge for the blowout risk.
Yeah, I just take a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And then for this card, we can make this one the 5 flex, or we can make the last one the 5.
I mean, up to you. I think there's obviously some overlap. Like Jackie and Shay's probably going to be main 2, maybe Katie close 3rd. So something like that. And
Okay, we'll keep this one as a 4, and then let's get exposure to other ones that we don't have. Or we can just keep the core and just add 2 for the last 5 flex, if you want to do that. Because we're pretty confident on all 3 of these. I think we independently honed in on these prior to the show starting. So we can each pick one here. I'll go Plum Assist to make it easy.
yeah, that was going to be my next guess, honestly. I think just with Gray being out here, they're going to lean on her early to dish it out. And if things go the way that the previous 2 games are, they're going to go heavy on Asia to start and Hamby a little bit to kind of follow that up. But unless they need Plum really dishing, or unless they need Plum dropping bombs and hitting their 3, she's not really going to attack as much as she's probably in the past. And they're going to be a little bit more savvy on her over, say, somebody like Plesac.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so are you going to go with Asia's points to pair with, or did you want exposure to one of these indie players or Phoenix? For the last 5th pick.
I think Brianna Turner, just her low lines, one of those 2. I don't know if I want the rebound or the points. They're just so low for the point line.
Let's like Gun decide. What do you want, Gun? She's like the Draymond Green of WNBA.
She got a podcast?
Probably. Everyone does a podcast nowadays.
I feel like everybody named Brianna is good, right? So no, I can't. No, don't put that on me. What's the debate? Brianna
rebound or points? So Indy is like one of the worst rebounding teams and one of the worst defensive rating teams.
So like
she's going
NBA, yeah. Okay. So
she's basically playing the Houston Rockets of WNBA.
Oh man, but 7.5 rebounds. What about PRA if you put them together? No assist though. She doesn't do assists.
No, not really.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's averaging. I'll show you her season averages. She's averaging 4.6 points, 2 assists, and 7.6 rebounds a game.
Okay, so her PRA is basically her average, and this is just a super plus spot.
Yeah, her PRA, she's averaging 14.2, and they have her at 13.5.
Gosh dang it, I don't know. Probably if she's averaging 7.5 rebounds, and it's that big of an upgrade, I guess rebounds. But don't put this on me. They don't just do PR. I thought that was a thing now. No,
not yet for WNBA.
Oh, okay. I guess rebounds. I don't
know. PRA could make sense if you're worried if she hooks at 7 rebounds but picks it up on scoring. So this team she's playing gives up the most points in the paint, and they have the worst defensive rating.
That's what you want. And she's like a center?
Yes, because their center signed with another team.
Oh, okay, then points. Then three layups, or two layups and one.
Right? You good with that, Eric?
Yeah, I can get behind that. And she did score, what, 5 or 6 points against them last time?
Yes. She scored 6 points. She was
Jesus
three of 4, 3 of 5 shooting.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Just, insane pace-up matchup here and really low bar.
Okay.
That's right. Y'all do what it says below.
Join the free Discord. I'm just playing with the new features here. I wish I could put Eric above me because I'm just messing with stuff. But it doesn't. Does it look, well, oh, I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're learning.
I like the exposure though, because we have 2 Phoenix, 2 Vegas, and then 1 Sparks, and those are kind of what we were leaning towards in terms of exposure. We wanted the most on Phoenix and Vegas, so definitely have the highest exposure for both of them in the same card. And then, like I said, if you wanted to pair Plum's assists with Asia Wilson's points or Jackie Young's points, totally get it. And then another one we didn't go over that we kind of liked, but it's always risky because of foul trouble and just how bad their offense is, would be Egbo's PRA, if you wanted any Indiana exposure. And then you could go with Cowboys' favorite Victoria, her 11.5 points. Okay, I think that's it. So for the schedule this week, is there a day gun that MLB is light?
Are you trying to corner me into jumping on a stream?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm? Tomorrow is pretty big. Wednesday is medium. It's the all day thing on Wednesday. Thursday's light in theory, but I don't know. So I would say I don't think this time slot is something I'm gonna be able to fit in that often because I have to do the rundfs.com voice chat. But if there is a like today, both these games are the West Coast games, whatever, and it locks super late.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was something like that, I might be able to swing a later stream.
Oh, so Wednesday it's 3 games, but one is at 9 a.m. Wow. Okay. So maybe Wednesday, because Wednesday they both start at 10 p.m. Eastern, the 2 games.
All right, Wednesday. Let me see what Wednesday's Yankees.
So if we started at
Yankees
5,
play in the morning, that works out.
All right. So if we did the same start time at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Oh no, I can't do that because I still have Run DFS obligations. So it would have to be after 6 Eastern.
Okay.
Or no, 7 Eastern. 7 Eastern.
That's fine. I mean, that's 6 hours before lock, so.
No, that can't be 7 Eastern.
I thought you said 6.
I'm stupid. 7 Eastern is the baseball lock for a main slate on Wednesday. It's like 7:05, but whatever.
Okay. Does that work for you, Eric, on Thursday or Wednesday?
What is?
So yeah, Wednesday, that's fine.
What's the start time on Eastern for that?
10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Yeah, sure, why not?
So if we shot for 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern for the stream.
Yeah, 6:37 would probably be the best. But yeah.
Okay, let's do that. And then
that's on Wednesday.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we'll do our normal duo stream because it has a normal lock at 7 p.m. Eastern, 2 games, and it looks like Friday is the 3-game slate, and then Thursday is the 1-game slate. But we can still do a stream. I'm down since we missed time. So yeah, plan for stream pretty much every day is probably 5 p.m. Eastern, except for Wednesday, which would be an hour or 2 hours later, at 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, and then hopefully Underrated will get us his custom song he made on his own for our outro. As of right now, I got to play like elevator music, but it will be nice. Gunn, you got to help me set that up on StreamYard. I'll send that song to you once he gets it to me.
Yeah, I need to do some playing around with this software. I'm not too familiar with it. I've just literally been clicking buttons since I've been here to see what does.
I mean, you were able to add that one song, intro song, so I assume you can do the same.
Oh yeah, well, basically it's just a video file. We don't need to talk about this on the air. Yeah.
All right. We'll let everyone go. All right, guys. We will be back tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2-game slate. And we'll be in the free Discord, like Gunn mentioned, down below. If you're not part of it, hit the link. We're gonna chop it up. I'm gonna join the voice chat probably in 30 minutes, and chop up some more cards with the guys. So, in the WNBA free channel. So join us there. You guys got any last comments?
Go Yankees!
Who are they playing?
The Oakland Athletics and Mr. Paul Blackburn.
There you go. Should be an easy one.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Eric, catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be back here with you guys tomorrow. Dropped my video earlier, and if you guys haven't had a chance to see that, just check it out.
Shout out your channel?
Oh yeah, Eric's Prop Stop. Big shout out to Gunn, been helping me grow my channel here. So it's been great to see community checking in on both sides here.
All right, yeah, definitely check out Eric, and it's good being back, guys. Good being back. I will catch you guys tomorrow.
Peace. Good luck tonight.
I've never not closed the stream. That's crazy. Good stuff. Good luck. God bless. Go with somebody. I didn't say it.
There you go. There you go.
God dang it. You don't like this elevator music, bro? This
night driving? I switch between night driving and Into Space.
Bruh. Okay. I like it.
I'm gonna go walk the pups. I'll be back in like 15.
All right. I'll see you guys later.